Hello, happy Saturday, everybody. Oh my gosh, getting ready to go live was interesting this morning. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I need a hat. So I went and got a hat, and we're going to have some fun today. Anyway, we're going to be integrating today. So thank you for those of you who are live with me on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Your devotion is honored, your commitment is heartwarming. And my hope is that as we finish up our last few days together in the 7 days of peace for the holidays challenge, that you'll be realizing just what you've integrated and be able to come whenever you're receiving this video into a celebration of all the new awarenesses that you have, all the new aspects of yourself that have been awakened, and how you can continue the journey. So, tomorrow we'll talk more about next steps. We'll talk about winners of participation prizes. And for today, we're really feeling into the energy of peace when it comes to relating to integration. And so, how I interpret that, or how I like to speak about this topic, is all the ways that we are noticing we allow ourselves time to integrate, and especially all the ways we notice when we want to hurry to the ending, skip to the next step. Um, and we could feel like the rushing of time ticking versus slowing down, being with ourselves, being with the process, and realizing and trusting the body as knowing what's coming next. Like it knows how long it needs, it knows what it's wanting to share with us, and it's inviting us to listen. So today is all of how we process life and how we relate to the integration process itself, making space for integration. And in this scenario, this particular day, we don't have peace because we aren't taking time to reflect and to integrate it. So we've been looking at all the ways we've been robbing ourselves of peace to welcome ourselves into new experiences of being able to cultivate more whenever we bring our awareness back to what is actually happening. So I just want to make sure all technology is working, that we are live in the group. So if you can see me, please say hello. And I'm just going to take a moment to check the phone so I can see who's joining in on comments. Okay, I can't see that today. That's fun, but it looks like all is well. So I'm going to continue going. So let's talk about new ways to experience peace in our body. We were talking about how we think about things this week. We were talking about how we feel about the things that we're thinking about. And we're bringing awareness to patterns that we might not have noticed before. Patterns that now are in our awareness, and we can be at choice to choose something different. And so, um, the invitation is to look at where we might be in an energetic frequency of fear versus love. And so when we look at these places, good morning, Melinda. As we look at these places, we're looking at fear may not feel like, oh, I'm so scared. It might show up as anxiety or worry or frustration or any of these lower level emotions that are keeping us from feeling more of our peace, our ease, our bliss, right? Some of the things that we've experienced together. Um, and so I pulled a card. There was a number, I'd pull a number of cards, and then I look at the energy of today, and then I look at how I feel about this conversation. And I noticed like the contract energy of today is inviting us into partnership with our own communication, partnership with our expression, partnership beyond the fear into love, into expressing more of who we are. And so believing in ourself, partnering with love of ourself to show that to the world more in the places we may have been hiding or not even considering how we are rippling our energy out into the world. And so the other invitation was creative cocooning. And I really loved the expression of that. So as we integrate today, we're going to be creative cocooning. And what I mean by that is realizing that the freedom that I gift myself to create, that safe next, the nesting, the cocooning, the safety of it for peace, for healing, and for calm, I realize I can come back to it because it's already here. It's not something I need to buy. It's not something I need to go outside of myself to find. It's all in here. And so the key through is noticing those feelings that are rising and being willing to face them, feel them, and then free them, just like we've been talking all week, by choosing another perspective. What else is available? How else would I like to feel in this moment? And when I check in with myself, how do I get from this one place here to the next? What's my one next step? Not the thousands of next steps. And so we surrender. We can release the need to control, to have plan A, B, and C in place, and to make room for that unknown. So we're really dancing in the unknown. We're dancing and realizing our higher self, realizing that higher potentiality and possibility that is available to all of us. And we're opening our connection to allow that higher experience, right? Maybe just a little bit higher than before, just a little bit more expanded than before. And when we do that over time, as you've been discovering, we realize we're not just a mind, we're not just a body, but we actually have this beautiful essence flowing through. And if you know anything about Mind Heart Coherence or Mind Heart Institute, they're studying, there's many sciences right now and institutes studying consciousness and the level of consciousness within us. They're actually finding ways to measure. They're finding what happens to brain waves when we switch our thinking and feeling states, when we're thinking in love and possibility. And they're also finding that when we take that separation, the things we feel separate from in life, the stories, the different things, and we bring them into resonance, I always feel like the mind, body, spirit in alignment, right? We actually flow with everything working as the supercomputer was meant to work. So instead of having missed programs, it's like this huge reboot, and we come back to our coherent state where the mind and the body, we invite the mind into the heart, and we choose working together. It's a different answer than just the mind running with all the things to do. And maybe you've experienced that. And so, making time to slow down and reflect today is the focus of this call. So, we're going to be doing a little bit of reflection, and I'm inviting you all to type in uh, things in the chat, right, or to be journaling them if they're more personal for you, um, and realizing some things that we've had in conversation, that we're the master of our experience, and this might be new information, but it doesn't mean it's not available, right? Where the legacy, our healing and expansion creates a legacy for our children, for our family, and for generations to come, as well as healing generations before us, right? We release that generational trauma. We release their patterns from our existence, those attachments, so we can create what we're wanting and not be held to the past expectation, guilt, shame, condition, whatever those things are that we've all been conditioned into, without knowing any differently. Nobody planned to create this, right? To have this experience with our parents or with our family or with life, but we've learned to navigate those waters, and we've learned that we can reclaim our power as we go through life lessons. They just have a way of presenting us an opportunity to see how far we've come if we so choose to look. We feel how strong we can be. We see the resilience. Even if it's not our ideal focus, we can always look back and see that we made it through and that we've been reclaiming parts of our past the whole time, old past parts of ourselves, right? And we're now even willing to let those go so we can step into that next level just a bit more, whether that's with your money, your finances, your career, your health, your relationships. We can want more. It's not selfish. And in fact, our wanting more and implementing and taking action shows others that it's possible. Our creating wealth helps others create wealth in the world. Us healing our separation helps create unity within all of us as a entire consciousness, right? So it's a ripple effect that we often don't see, but it's way beyond just the personal look of I feel better in my body. Well, when you feel better and you're thriving and you're rippling out those higher vibrations, you're helping that ripple that out into the consciousness as well. Imagine if we all, as a unity and whole in the world, start doing that, we'd have a whole different experience. So you also don't have to choose to struggle in the drama. So we are going to welcome in conversation of nourishing, slowing down, nurturing with love, and looking for play. So if you're here with me, or you're catching the replay, always let me know, by the way. I love to have the conversation continue in here long after the call's completed. I would love for you to take a moment and really think about the wins for yourself this week. There are things that you accomplished that you didn't know that you would on Monday. There are ways that you felt that you were able to shift that you didn't know you could on Monday. And now that we're looking back, 6 days in, what else did you experience about yourself that you had forgotten? It was like a remembering of coming home to yourself. Can you list that? And Melinda, it looks like it's on live right now, you and I. So if you'd be willing to take some time to chat below and share some of those, that would be amazing. And then we're going to work into the body just a little bit. And for the remainder of the call, really bring in more of that grounding so we can continue that integration together. And then tomorrow, we're going to land into dreaming even bigger towards what we want next, which I think is so much fun. So I'm going to just wait and pause, drink my warmed up coffee. This is my birth date on a tic-tac-toe in numerology. We all have one. So I'll think about some of the wins that I've had this week. And I think of it sometimes in terms of we can do hard things. So I knew there was an element of this challenge that was going to be interesting, showing up live at 7 a.m. every day. And my mind wanted to create all the reasons that was going to be hard. But truly, to be consistent and to commit to the consistency that I desired for this experience, that was the time that I had in my schedule where I didn't have to worry about anything veering or being in the way of it. And so showing up at 7 meant getting up at 5 every day. And because I chose to, because I wanted to be ready, because I wanted to take the time to channel in the messages and sit with the journaling beforehand and still have my morning and still have the quiet time by the fireplace with the dogs. And so, 6 days in, it's starting to feel like this could be a new habit. It's starting to feel possible. It's starting to feel like, what else can we do? And I've actually very much enjoyed coming into conversation every single day with you. And so it's been some really big revelations for myself, and where I used to tell old stories of why it was hard or why I couldn't, and really landing into the excitement of what births from not knowing and actually being in the action of it. Melinda, I can see some things coming through. So procrastination, I choose to just do it. So you're leaving that behind. You can see where you maybe were in a pattern of procrastination, and that it's not only something that might be on loop, but that you can interrupt it and choose to just do something new. The thing that you've been putting off, it's a good feeling to just do what's next one step at a time. Yeah. And I always say, like, I know there's tons of books about productivity and time blocking, but if you can choose the biggest thing first, then the thing that's weighing you down the most begins to lift. And then you find the celebration and the excitement of getting to the next step and completing it versus the dread of it hanging on your shoulders. And so even if you whittle away of it for 10 minutes a day, it's more than you were doing when you were ruminating in it for 10 minutes a day and then perpetuating the freeze, right? Like the procrastination. And then remembering to be out of my head and into my heart. Yeah, it's really as simple as those words. In fact, I used to have the tag phrase, now is the time to get out of your head and into your heart to make your dreams happen, right? Um, in its simplicity, that's how it's felt for me on this journey too. And to not be mad at my mind, to not hate my mind, not, I used to want to like just remove my head and everything would be better. I have that feeling. But allowing it really to be a part of the party, the conversation, the direction, the intention, the creation, because we need its analytics, we need its brilliance, we need its knowledge, we need its wisdom to help us initiate the plan of the heart, right? Also, not to take on other people's emotions and feelings and just to be without any attachment. Yeah, I was telling my husband last night, maybe this will help you guys. You can play with it and try. There's nothing in here that is a have to for you. You get to choose what works for you. You get to choose the parts of the conversation that are filling your heart and soul and resonating. And at this moment, if it's not, you get to leave the rest behind. So there's never a dictation of do this and this will be better. There's an invitation that over time, this has worked for a lot of people, and it could work for you too. One of the things I love to do before I fall asleep is just feel into myself and say, I give everyone's energy back to source today. I don't give it back to themselves because they don't often need the energy they may have been rippling out. Maybe it wasn't such a great energy, right? So I give it to source so it can be moved and moved into new energy. And then I call my energy back to me. I call my energy back to me. It doesn't mean I call the big things I don't need. It means I call the energy I've given away that I didn't need to back to myself so I can discern what it feels like. And I feel this instant wave of peace. It's like this relief that hits the mind and the body immediately. And you can try it now. So if I had been taking on other people's energies, or in my thoughts as I lay down, there's a cocktail of everything else everyone else was integrating with all day long, right? We have this biomorphogenic field 9 feet out from us. We're still absorbing energies from others around us. If we're living with other people, we have the potentiality to mix those energies. And so it allows us to really discern, what do I feel like? What is not only my essence, like we practiced on Tuesday, but what is it when I call my energy home to myself so I can understand what's mine and what's not mine? And it really helps us. It doesn't even have to be at night. It can be multiple times a day, as we learned in Reiki when we were first learning. So that's how we begin to bring our dreams down in our body. We understand that we can ground ourselves right here and now in this present moment. It's not about being so spiritual you're not living in this body. And it's also not about being so in this body we can't possibly fathom a spiritual connection. The harmony, the balance we've been seeking is to welcome our soul self in and have it all have a place. We're literally bringing it all together so we know how we operate when we're in alignment and in integrity of what we say that we want versus compromising or giving ourselves away, giving our power away to all the situations and circumstances. What do you say after? I give everyone's energy back to source. Thinking about the interactions today, going in the store, whatever it was, you're not protecting yourself, you're inviting more love in. And by inviting that frequency of love in and co-creating with source, those lower level density energies aren't a part of that anyway. It's like a repellent, right? So I give everyone's energy back to source, and I call my energy back to me. I call my energy home. Whatever feels good. Okay. So we can ask our body in this relationship. We're building this relationship with our body. We're building this right relationship with ourselves. We are feeling into, what does it feel like to be whole? You are whole right now. What are the stories that start to come up? I'm not whole right now. I got blah, blah, blah problem going on. Have you seen my life? It's complete upside down chaos. What are the stories that start coming in when you just realize I'm already whole? Those are the separation stories. Those are the stories of the mind. It's the greatest way to identify what's going on for you right now that isn't really true. So if I'm whole, and maybe I haven't always looked at myself as whole, but I'm willing in this moment to feel into my wholeness, where do I feel separate? Where does my mind want to tell me a story that I'm separate from this wholeness feeling, where I can start to integrate and love the body more? The body might be sending signals where that belief has embodied in another story. And we can simply ask the body better questions. Or what is it like to be in our wholeness and welcome in more of what we want from that place of wholeness? You'll notice both create a stir in your nervous system. There's nothing wrong with that. The stir is just habit and behavior over a lifetime of not knowing how to nurture and come within to nourish the nervous system. It needs to be told, it needs to be acknowledged, it needs to be welcomed into a different experience too. Because the mind can decide and start going, like, yeah, let's go do the things, all the things, I'm ready. And the body is still telling you, oh, wait, I don't feel safe to move or stable. I feel something's going on. I don't, I'm not ready. And this is where we integrate, right? Sometimes it can feel like I've heard so many people talking, there's so much noise. And that's because, like, when we're learning new things and we're filling ourselves with information, we literally can get overfull with information. I feel it like it's hard to actually hear the words they're saying anymore. And it's like I want to take a deep breath, and that tells me it's time for me to integrate what I've been learning. I haven't been bringing it into my body and letting it move some of this emotion through, maybe move some of these feelings through, or I haven't been paying attention to my nervous system. Sometimes that looks like I need to take a walk. Sometimes that looks like just to go and take a break from the computer, from everything else, from the messages, from technology, and breathe into the body and be here with the body, be with the body now. Does this make sense? And so we can ask a better question, right? How can I support you, body, in feeling strong, stable, and secure in this moment? How can I support you in feeling strong, stable, and secure? And you can invite your mind into your heart and ask the question. It's very similar to what is my one next step, but it's very specific into the body conversation. How can I support you in feeling strong, stable, secure in this moment? And you will hear in a whisper the next beautiful best step. It will not be a laundry list. It could be as simple as get a drink of water, maybe have a more nourishing meal today. I could use more vegetables. Sleep would be a great thing. Like, there could be so many things. It's very often self-care related because that's the first thing we seem to ditch in our efforts towards everything else, especially when we're building businesses. And especially if we start having some momentum, we get so excited about the momentum that we forget to come back to foundation, right? So it's the harmony, the balance we're seeking is come back to ourself and give ourselves what we're needing, and then we can move forward. But it's not, I don't want to have you misperceive that we sit back all day and don't do anything. We just take those few minutes to reorganize ourselves and then come back. What do I need? What is my one next step? So let me know if that's making sense, that I'm not confusing you there. I think that that feels good. Denise is trying to find us. Um, let's pause for a second. Melinda, can you see us? Can you see us on your phone or on your computer? Where are you at? This is so wild. This is why I do StreamYard, so I can always upload it if I need to. If I need to. Okay, let me tag Denise real quickly. Mercury retrograde. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Got you. Thank you for tagging. Okay. Good. All right. I was like, whoo, in a zone. So celebrating our wins. Thank you for sharing those. And now we're going to expand a little bit more into what do I want to think about myself? Maybe this is something we've not given a lot of thought to. It's kind of right up there with what do I want kind of question. But take a moment, just be with yourself today, right here, right now. We've had all this wisdom. We've had this experience and this time together. We've had the lifetime of experience before now. But today we're making a brand new decision. And we're feeling into this new decision becoming the commitment and the focus and intention moving forward. And so if we haven't been one who's considered ourselves or our body, if we haven't always been nurturing and nourishing to ourselves, none of that matters in this moment. What matters is, what do you want to do now? What decision will you make now moving forward? Hello, Denise, you found us. I don't know. Yes, Mercury retrograde. I'm looking and I'm like, we're live, right? And I couldn't see myself in the group either. So I'm glad you found us. So the question is, what do I want to think about me, myself now? How do I want to feel about myself? So if you can start popping some of that in the comments below, we'll start to get a rhythm here. We have grace in our spiritual evolution. We have grace in our personal development. We have grace for what we didn't know before. We can welcome in so much more compassion for ourselves, and that magical compassion begins to extend into realizing that the people that we're interacting with as well have their own journey, and it doesn't have to be ours. And sometimes our focus on them is a distraction for coming back to us. The trigger that was received through them is a trigger meant for us. And so it becomes fascinating, but it's also having grace with what you didn't know or what you didn't realize as we open this awareness. So when you think about this remembering of our peace, right, coming back home to peace in our body, and this whole experience, what do you want to think about yourself now? Because you think a lot of things about yourself. But I want to focus on moving forward, the decision, the feeling, the confidence, the courage, the certainty, and begin to pop those in the comments. I feel like there's also a really weird delay today, but we'll see. If you're joining from YouTube, welcome. I'll check comments there afterwards. Appreciate you being here. So as we integrate today, we get into building space for what is, space to just be. I love that it's on a Saturday, right? We're spending a little time to be quiet and still, coming home to ourselves. So when I think of what I want to think about myself, where I want to belong, where I see myself in this vision of what I want to create, there can be a lot of other things that rise. We're human, the doubt, the insecurity, right? Those things can rise. But I think of I am statements. And so often we see I am statements and we think of affirmations, and then we realize that some of these affirmations don't always work for us because they're not our affirmations. There's someone else telling us we can affirm this. That's okay too. The reason it's okay is anytime we're speaking in I am, the subconscious mind is being programmed. And so we also have moments where we say things like, I am tired, I am frustrated, right? Oh, you missed what you're asking. I'm asking, what do you want to think about yourself now from today forward? No matter what has happened, we're starting right fresh right now with a new decision, a new commitment, and a new intention. And what is it that I'd like to think about myself today and moving forward, no matter what has been the thought in the past? And so we're talking about coming into the I am affirmations. And oftentimes with I am affirmations, if we're not relating to them, we're not realizing that we can actually be connecting to maybe something different. But how we're constantly reinforcing to our subconscious mind the pattern for which we're thinking about most. And when we start thinking about integration, we can start really feeling into a new way. So I am statements. I have a number of them. I just kind of wrote out really quickly this morning, and you're welcome to adopt these or think of your own. Instead of thinking, I am tired, I am frustrated, I am overwhelmed, right? We don't want to keep reinforcing those patterns. We want to switch them. So let's try a few of them on. And when we can say these more often, remind ourselves more often, play them on replay while we're sleeping, we have this opportunity when the mind moves out of the way to start reprogramming new patterns. So there's lots of ways we can do this, but this is in integration. claiming of what you are, who you want to become, can be very powerful because it's not a lot of things we spend time doing. So I'm just going to list a few so we can start feeling the momentum that comes from this. I am love. I am healthy. I am whole. I am vitality. I am well. I am confident. I am courageous. I am divine. I am source energy. I am abundant. I am safe. I am stable. I am peace. I am harmony. I am secure. I am wealthy. I am devoted to my wellness. I am a creator. I am extraordinary. What else do you come up with? Let's pop those in the comments as well. Today's energy is all about flow, letting go of fear and landing into love. Really, when it comes down to it, we're either in fear or love anyway. So when we talk about being in choice, we get to recognize where we're operating from. Are we operating from fear or are we operating from love? And let's get even more specific. Are we operating of fear, denying our self-love, or being more of love for ourselves? Being the example of what we're wanting to experience out in the world so it comes through us as us. Are you committed to your limitation or your liberation? It's such a powerful sentence because we are at choice, and oftentimes we don't want to admit we're choosing our limitation when we really want to feel our liberation. But if we're not choosing how it feels to be in our liberation or in love frequency or in peace, then the truth is we are choosing our limitation. We are choosing indecision. We are choosing to repeat the pattern, and we're choosing to give our power away instead of being in our power of choice and moving forward from that momentum. Oh, Melinda, there's a lot. I am whole. I'm healthy. I am full of energy. I am excited to create a day of accomplishments. I am happy. I am love. I am energetic. I am courageous. I am the queen of my soul. I am a creator. I am vibrant. I am joy. I am trustworthy. How does that feel? I can just, okay, my heart just goes, oh my God, yes, go girl. I love that. And so imagine building that kind of frequency for ourselves every morning we wake up, right? If we're going to sleep and we're saying, I give everyone's energy back to source and I bring my energy back to me, what if we start repeating some of these until we fall asleep or once we wake up and we start believing a new story? One of the most amazing I am sentences that can change the trajectory of your health and your well-being, even if you have a cold, even if you don't feel your healthiest, is I am well. Wake up and I am well. Every moment you're conscious of it, I am well. I am healthy. I am vibrant. Start to see how those cells begin to shift into reality. Start to see how your mind goes, well, I know how to do that. And your body will respond because you're giving it a decision. I am well. And it goes, yeah, okay. And when we think about the power of that, how often do we tell, oh God, something's wrong? Oh, there's a pain. Oh God, I have this anxiety, right? And I'm not making fun. I'm just, that's how the body feels. And we perpetuate the loop. It's fascinating. I can't, like, the power of epigenetics, the power of belief is so huge. Three resources if you want to geek out. My very first person I ever connected with this information was Joe Dispenza. He actually measures the mind internally by the frequency and is able to graph the feeling and emotional states and graph when we move out of it. Bruce Lipton, all of 81 years old, or I think that's his current age. He's for 40 years or more. He has been studying epigenetics how the beliefs can change in our body when we focus on new conversations. So, very much like we're talking about now, you can change your entire existence. Even though you've had these other ailments, you start believing something new, you can shift it, right? It's very exciting. It's new science that's coming in. And then Greg Braden is really focusing on the intelligence of the heart, the frequency and resonance from the heart, coming into this coherent state and sending it out from the heart. So you can kind of have some of these quantum perspectives from these actual scientists and actual data collectors moving the science out into the world. So it's not, so it has this practical science side of this metaphysical conversation that are both are real. But we don't have to label one or the other. We just get to experience the superhuman ability of this body, right? And we're told so differently as we grow up. We're told we're actually not told the truth so often in our life. And so I love sharing this because what I thought changed my life just on a health journey became so much more. It became that alignment. It became my spirit, my body, my mind, all together, right? And the power of it. And when I realized I wasn't in my power and how frustrating it was to know that I was giving it all away, or I was being the doormat, or I was being my problem, I was being the pattern. When I started to choose to be a different pattern, my whole world shifted and I watched my relationship shift without me having to get all the explanations out. The energy was so palpable and the love was so more flowing that it knew how to heal. And when we can forgive ourselves, the energy of that forgiveness through the power of love, there isn't anything we can't heal. And yet we don't take the time. And there's no absolute right way. You get to cultivate that for you. And it's going to be ever changing and ever growing. And so I just invite you, you're not going to do it perfectly. I'm not going to do it perfectly. Nobody on this planet is going to do it perfectly because we are human and humans are meant to be imperfect. So take the pressure off. Love yourself more and let yourself land into momentum of that devotion of being more committed to your liberation than to your limitation. Just a word before we end today. This energy today, I woke up going, why is time going so fast? I don't know if you've noticed that at all yet. We haven't been awake that long here on the Pacific coast. And then I went, oh, it's an 8 energy day. And 8 loves momentum. It likes to be in flow. It desires mastery, personal power. It invites us to experience ourselves there. And I wrote it down because next year, that's coming very soon, is a 2024. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 is an 8. So we're having an 8 energy year next year, which means we're already feeling the momentum. And when 2004 rolls in, it will be relentless this year in a beautiful way and in a way that you can no longer not see when you're not in that power of choice. It'll feel like the world's coming fast. This year has been a constant invitation to leap out of your comfort zone, to experience life a new way, to feel like the rug got pulled out from underneath you and still navigate life. That's the power of the 7, to bring you to the truth so you can trust yourself and where you're going and you don't always have to know. It's inviting you to connect into the unknown and have that relationship with the universe to provide, right? To co-create. The 8 says, let's take that mastery and let's propel ourselves forward. And so as we look at what we want for this new year, are we going to be doing the same things over and over and over again? Are we going to choose to make time to integrate, to experience ourselves in a new way, to actually step into the change we've been feeling we want? I know that feeling. What I've been doing is no longer working. Something's got to give. I can't keep going at this rate, and I don't know what it is I'm looking for. And in that, yet you're open to what arrives. When the student arrives, the teacher appears. And so tomorrow I'm going to be presenting a few invitations on how to take these next steps forward, how to create community and build that foundation moving forward for yourself that will serve you for a lifetime. So we can take this experience and step even bolder in a journey for 3 months together. So imagine what you can create, especially when the mind comes screaming in, when life starts feeling like it's going so fast. Imagine how good it feels to know you're always creating that foundation and then be able to discern exactly where you are at any moment in this beautiful divine timing cycle to realize what your next step is. If you're in awareness, it's time to move into acceptance. If you're in acceptance, have you taken responsibility for your next choices and changes? If you have or haven't, then are you willing to activate more of what you're wanting? Are you able to handle the momentum when that starts to come in? The synchronicities, can we move the trigger that's going to be needed to move into synchronicity? When we experience our emotion, can we still feel strong and stable? How does it feel to actually continue to integrate as we grow and move ourselves forward in that thing that we're wanting to create? More money in our business, expanding our financial body. Again, the body holds the truth. So having that support and finally letting go of, I have to do this alone. Some belief we've created somewhere that the shame is there if I have to ask for help, that needs to drop away this year. We get there much faster together than we do separately. And so really feeling into your devotion, your level of commitment. Have you been just dipping your toe in decision and not fully stepping in, just making sure everything's perfect before you leap? Or are you full on committed and willing to ebb and flow with the tides and stop swimming upstream so you can flow downstream in the aligned rhythm of your own purpose, your own integration? You felt this for sure. Yeah, you're going to experience it in good ways and unfortunate ways. We are going to be faced with the unexpected constantly. This is the idea of creating the foundation for when the unexpected arrives. It's not to clean up the mess from everything happening, which is usually where we find ourselves. Nothing wrong with that. But how would it feel to have the foundation so no matter what life throws at you, no matter what chaos is happening outside of us, and honestly, it feels like there's going to be quite a bit of different things being revealed this next year and more chaos ensuing. How does it feel when we're still grounded in our peace and not becoming another part of that chaos? We're grounded in our peace and rippling that out to our family, our friends, our children, our community, becoming the beacon of hope and the light in the shadows so others can say, I want some of that too. So you can experience the impact that you're desiring in your world. Impact does not have to always be business or financially related. It can be the love of the family, showing the family there's another way to communicate, another way of being, a way to come together. We're always creating impact. It's time to own yours. Flow is for me. Yes, totally good. Okay, so I'm going to leave you today with just a few minutes of coming into your body. And then I'll I'll invite you to stay in that energy or to simply open your eyes and we can end the call. But as we integrate today, make sure you're not driving. You can always come back to this last part. But I invite you to just find a comfortable place where you're sitting or laying down. And we I love to always start with 3 deep breaths because that's the one tool that never needs to be found in a purse or on a shelf or forgotten. It's always with us. And so whether you close your eyes or keep your eyes open, I invite you to breathe in through the nose for 4 counts. Exhale for 6 counts. Breathe in again for 4. Each time trying to see if you can expand your belly just a bit more than before. And then exhale for 6 or even 8 if that feels good. Emptying all the air. The last one, try putting the tongue at the roof of your mouth and breathing in. Notice how much more air can expand into your body. And then exhale. And now the shoulders go with you. Your body realizes it can sit and stay. 3 breaths. 3 breaths at any moment is all it takes, no matter what emotion we're in. And you're grounded back here with you. Just noticing what you notice today. How does the body feel? Feel your toes at the earth. Feel the outline of your body if you're laying down or sitting in your chair. Feel your heart beating. Feel that space between your eyes. How when the eyes are closed, it wants to open and expand into a vast, beautiful, infinite space. Invite yourself to feel atop of your head. What would it feel like beyond? Can you feel when you're sitting here that infinite, beautiful flow? Then I invite you to bring your attention to the top of the head. And I invite you to bring into through the top of the head this feeling of warm golden waves of light. And following it down through the crown of your head beyond that space between the eyes. Letting it melt like honey down the spine beyond the throat. Allowing it to clear with it any old patterns, old energies that are no longer welcome. So it moves down the body, fills the crevices, the spaces, the organs, the flow from the chest all the way down to the arms, into the fingertips, back up the chest, covering through the heart, around the heart, through the chest, down the solar plexus. Just focusing on inviting in peace and feeling the love of that energy as it comes down towards the belly button, continuing to flow in warm waves, filling the hips, all the spaces as it spills over the thighs, down the knees, behind the calves, and into the earth under the feet. Taking with it anything that doesn't serve you any further, taking with it any tensions of the day, any tensions of the body, letting it return to earth to be moved into something more. I'm going to invite you back into your essence. Where does that essence live? Where is it today? Where can you find it? We're calling the essence of ourselves into this beautiful space in the body. It'll feel just a bit different than this loving, warm energy that we brought in. I'm going to invite you to use your imagination to pull all of those energies into your heart and feel it expand. The heart starts to move a little more, feel like it's beating a little stronger. And you imagine this swirling cocktail of source energy, love, peace, ease, your essence. And just for today, I would love you to put your hands outside of your body and hold it like you're going to be holding this ball. And use that imagination again to pull that energy from the heart into a beautiful ball. Begins slowly at first and it grows and grows and it feels electric and you can see different colors or maybe a sphere or shape and maybe it's spinning. Maybe it's one color, maybe it's multicolors. And as you pour that essence of you, that life force energy, that peace and that frequency of love into that ball, it grows and it grows and it begins to feel heavy. And just when it feels like you can hold it no longer, it feels right to you, I would invite you to hold those hands and push them into your heart. Feel the energy swoosh. And then just play with it. Can you bring it from your heart up into your head, filling all the spaces in your upper body? And can you follow it from your heart down to your feet at your pace? Swirling and filling the entire cells of your being down to your feet. And then can you feel it from toe to head and head to toe? It's buzzing. Maybe it's cotton candy pink. Maybe there's sparks of gold, flicks of red, some blue or green. And notice in this moment how you don't feel your body. You don't feel your worries. We're going to invite your mind into your heart at this moment anyway. Come join it there. And just for today, what is that one thing your body could use from you to help with integration, to feel strong, stable, and secure today? What is that one focus for you today that you can come back to over and over again, even through the busyness or the holiday shopping or the gathering or the preparations? This is you. This is the essence of you. What does your soul need today? What does it want you to know? Just see if anything pops in. What message, what wisdom wants to be shared with you today? Imagine moving that out from your heart, from the front and the back, all the way out into your field. Now play with it and see if you can move it out into the room, out beyond your walls, making a bubble all around your house and yard, and then sending that energy, that love, that peace, that essence of you, and that next step out into the universe as far as you can see, knowing that that will be returned in synchronicity today. And begin to slowly wiggle your toes and open your eyes. Take a deep breath and feel free to write in your journal or capture here whatever message, whatever wisdom came through. And capture how it felt in your body for just 5 minutes to be in that state of being. Write it in the comments below. And if you choose to stay in this energy just a bit longer, you may do so. But be sure to capture your own wisdom. And I'll see you again tomorrow for our day 7. Bye for now.